Boom, we're live. We're back.
We're back. Back in black, baby. Except I'm in pink and you kind of have black. I like it. All right. Armand, what's going on, brother?
Patriotic today.
Oh, is that a Latvian thing?
Some of the Latvian symbols on there. I don't really have our Independence Day coming up yet, but I guess I just switch it up for today. Yeah.
Very cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
If I ever make it to the UFC, I could have that on my Reebok gear sleeve, maybe. But,
they should. They should do that for the Latvian fighters. They should have that on their sleeves.
Yeah, they don't have any right now, but yeah, hopefully one day. Yeah, I heard the Venom might overtake the sponsorship deal, so that would be a big win for smaller MMA brand. But at the same time, it's almost like Brandon Schaub said, it could be a loss for MMA as an industry that none of these big brands want to take the risk that Reebok took anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Reebok obviously didn't go as well as they would hope, so I imagine that's going to be kind of a soft spot with people trying to decide to do it. So I wish they would just give the fighters, get their own sponsors. Come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I heard like Sean O'Malley sold apparently almost $1 million in those Reebok shirts, but he got like a $20K check or something in the mail for it.
That's business, man. Business. All right, brother, we got a lot to get into. You want to get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, first fight card to go back all the way to September 5th, Alistair Overeem and Augusto Sakai. So yeah, I was again Overeem kind of turned back the clock, still kind of is legitimate threat at heavyweight, and want to just emphasize that he's always thought as a kickboxer, but he has one of the best ground and pounds in MMA, I think, period, because he's shown in the past, even far past, he fought the Brett Rogers in Strikeforce and stepping through some of these guys, he just instead of just fighting them stand up, he just took them by surprise, took them down and pounded them out. And this is what happened 5th round, just a quick takedown and those brutal elbows, like just hard to watch.
Yeah, those first couple of rounds looked like Alistair was kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of like rope-a-dope. I think he was clinching. He was trying to get Sakai to kind of expend a lot of that energy so he didn't have as big of a knockout power anymore. And I think Alistair has good conditioning. And then during the 3rd and the 4th and so on and so forth, he kind of started picking it up, started taking over, and then, like you said, kind of finishing at the end. And, you know, big win over a surgeon guy, so we'll see what's left. I mean, I think Alistair's got a couple of, like, 3 or 4 finishes in a row, maybe even 5. So, you know, who knows? Maybe a title shot again.
Yeah, I mean, this might as well be his last run. I mean, he had that knockout loss to Jorginho there. He was looking really impressive, but otherwise he's 4-1 in last 5 fights, all knockouts, and made some adjustments, fighting smarter. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, definitely interesting to see John Jones potentially getting into heavyweight as well. So.
Oh, yes, sir.
And this is such a good card. It was, because of all the cancellations I'm reading, it was the smallest card since Ultimate Fighter Finale 2 in 2005 in that Rock Casino little arena they used to do those shows.
It was crazy. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, and it was a good card though. It's had a lot of finishes. Owen's same crew about this one is just, you have to emphasize again, he looked like a heavyweight. I couldn't believe he was 205 pounds, like just the size difference. Dude. He definitely looked like he moved down from heavyweight, and there's that one big punch, walkout, knockout. That was very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And even in the first round before the knockout shot, I think he was winning. I think he was keeping busier, keeping him against the fence. Menifee was doing a little bit better in that second round before he got caught, but I think OSP definitely was obviously better and then eventually got the knockout.
Yeah, I guess OSP, yeah, it's up to him whether he wants to be a 205 or at heavyweight. I think he's just, whatever division is more open, that's where he should go.
Yeah. I'd like to see him against maybe a top 10 guy next, just to kind of see where he's at. 'Cause I think he's beaten a couple of guys, but I'm not sure how high they've been ranked. So I'd like to see him against a little bit higher ranked.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a while, especially that bit of a layoff and then heavyweight fight. And then, Michel Pereira, he put on a great performance in that fight, especially in the end, did that little dance and then just went in for a takedown and got the choke. It is very interesting for sure.
Yeah, he outstruck him creatively, man. He was in and out, man. He was jumping off of cages. Even add a little insult to injury, even did a little bit better in the grappling, the short, exchanges they had. So this was kind of the performance I think that he was looking for, and I think he got it. So I'm looking forward to him moving up the ranks after this one for sure.
Yeah, and then the next one we had Andrei Muniz and Bartosz Fabianski, and that was also a good fight. It was Bartosz just went straight in for a takedown, tried to
chasing,
was
right?
very aggressive, but then had a very tight guillotine by Andre, and then eventually he just switched it to an armbar, so it's good submissions off of his back.
Yeah, it was a slick transition. Yeah, I liked it a lot. And that you pretty much hit the nail right on the head as far as the tail of the tape with the fight. It was pretty much all that it was.
Yeah, and then another fight just stands out. Obviously, Brian Kelleher's performance again. It was very aggressive, straightforward. Like Ray Rodriguez just went in there and just got caught straight into a guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
It just reminds me of my very first amateur grappling performance, and I just went straight in for a double, got it, but then oh crap, I'm in a guillotine, and then that's it.
Oh man, guillotines are funny like that, man. But yeah, we both thought Brian was gonna win. I think we both said it was gonna be a knockout, not a submission, man. But yeah, no, 39 seconds. So Brian, he's dangerous, man.
Yeah, there's definitely had fights near the top of the card, and they're probably going back there again now. And then anything else on this card?
We got two more we might as well go over. The Viviane Araujo or defeats Montana De La Rosa Villa. She got a via unanimous decision. I thought this was a really good fight. I think Araujo definitely won, and I thought they both looked really cool. So I'm looking forward for more flyweights to be added into it. With the bantamweight, trying to think about anything in particular. I think Smith almost kind of came back and got the comeback win at the end. But other than that, Cole Smith looked pretty good. And, that pretty much wraps up the shortest fight card since that Ultimate Fighter won.
2005, yeah.
All right, brother. Next one?
Speaking of next one, definitely was we had the head scratcher about the outcome of the main event, and that's how basically it went. It was very tight, split decision, and I think I predicted Michelle Waterson to go over, and that's what happened in the end.
Angela Hill, brother, just cannot catch a break. She had a pretty close fight with Claudia Gadelha. I'd probably have to rewatch it, but I thought
two split decisions in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I thought Hill beat Claudia. I'd have to rewatch it, but man, Angela Hill's right up there. I think for Michelle Waterson, she probably wanted a little bit better of her performance. I think Angela Hill, I just feel bad for her, but I like to rewatch it. I think they're both going to move up the rankings after this. If anything, I think it's good for Angela Hill because she's competing, and then still gives us something to look forward to with Michelle, I guess, too. So 2 winners, I guess you can say, but yeah, like you said, kind of a head scratcher of a decision, I thought.
Yeah.
But I could see Michelle. I could saw Michelle getting the fight. Who knows?
Yeah, that's definitely a close one. And then what else? You got Adman Azaitar kind of putting on good striking performance. I think the stoppage might have been a little early in that one.
A little premature, I think so too.
It was. He definitely had him hurt, but at the same time, it wasn't like he was down and out. He was still trying to move, and he just stood straight back up. Like it wasn't one of those where the fighter goes out and then wakes up. He still was aware. I think they could have let that go a little bit.
Yeah, I just remember seeing a lot of scary, powerful hooks coming from that man. So I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and also you got Roxanne Modafferi still turning back the time. It's just like she gets a win or a loss, but she's still the elite despite all the miles she's put on in her career.
Yeah, it was a good fight, but I think the grappling definitely gave the edge to Roxanne. Right? You would agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no. So Roxanne, she's had a couple wins in a row. She had one win over Macy Barber. She's obviously has some experience with some top people. So we'll see, man. But she keeps winning. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Still has something left in.
Sorry, what was that last one, brother? Might have lost you.
Oh, speaking of people that still have something left in the tank, Ed Shortfuse Herman, the Ultimate Fighter veteran, again, like
Yeah,
he seems like
the referee helped him, get that second win, if you know what I mean. Did you see that the knee that landed legally and they timed it out?
Oh, I might have missed that part actually out of it.
Oh, interesting. So somewhere in the middle of this fight, it was a pretty good fight the whole time. But in the middle of it, Rodriguez got screwed by the referee because Rodriguez landed a knee on Herman, and they thought it was a knee to a downed opponent. And looking back on the replay, it was a legal shot, but he stopped it, and it most likely would have led to a TKO for Mike Rodriguez. But obviously it was restarted, and Herman was able to kind of rally back and get that submission. So. It was once again. It was a split. It was very close. I think they should use replays more often. Obviously, I'm not sure what they would have done. Would he just have ran it back and waved it to TKO? I don't know. That's kind of confusing. But unfortunately, Ed Herman got the win. But Mike Rodriguez still got some star power, and Ed's kind of on the later stages. So who knows?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It depends on the state, which state regulates it. I remember there was this instance with Gegard Mousasi and Chris Weidman that comes to mind when Gegard landed those knees and Weidman claimed that they were illegal, but they looked at the clock and said at the replay, see that they were legal knees, and then they immediately called it as a TKO without even asking.
Fascinating. Well, unfortunately, unfortunate for Mike Rodriguez. Good for Ed Herman. All right. Next one. Bobby Green, man. Keeping it going, man.
Like I said, he's kind of fine, like second wind. I think he's just having better coaching, like he said, and he's just kind of more refocused and just putting wins together. Very impressive striking performances. And I mean, if he's on this like roll, he might as well throw him in there with someone from the very top. Might as well see if he has all this momentum behind him, he could potentially shock also higher level opponents.
Yeah, it's been a long time if ever Bobby Green's looked this good. It's firing on all cylinders. The stars are aligning, and I'm with you, man. Maybe give him a top 15, and we'll see. And he's entertaining. He's a good talker. So go King Green, baby. Let's see what he can do with that.
Yeah, and the next one was like a really interesting finish you had by Billy Quarantino. Yeah, so they almost like came out like in a Muay Thai stance, two of them, and just bam, one punch, and that was all it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, straight right, just right on the button. Yeah, was it 7 seconds into that last round, man? And it was a pretty good fight. I think Billy was winning the entire time, so I think the finish kind of told a good tale of how the fight was going. And, straight right on the button. Looking forward to see Billy land those on maybe some other people coming down the line.
Yeah. And what else you get on this fight card? I guess there's Kevin Kroom got a quick submission over Roosevelt Roberts, who's, after a very promising start, has had back-to-back submission losses in the first round.
Yeah, man, he just did 30 seconds, just got the quick knockdown, grabbed the neck, bye-bye. That's all she wrote. That's all that went. In the Eubanks and Avila fight, that was a pretty good fight, especially that first round. But I thought Eubanks, obviously was doing better in the grappling, better in the striking. I'm trying to think, she's in bantamweight now. I'm curious to see how she was doing up in the weight class because Eubanks was doing well, and 25 obviously was a front runner to win that Ultimate Fighter season. So curious about that. We talked about Kroom, Alexander Romanov at heavyweight. I think it's just good to say that I just really liked what I saw from heavyweights lately. I think that they're all just getting a lot more athletic, a lot better. He eventually got the submission, I think it was. Yeah, he got a submission, but, he was suplexing him. He had diverse takedowns. He was getting some, hard ground and pound from Mount. He was just kind of beating him everywhere. So I'm curious to see how that kind of keeps on going.
That's undefeated heavyweight, yes. I guess he's originally from Moldova, kind of has come up through the Russian scene. I actually just pulled him up. He has a picture with Vladimir Putin together. So if he endorses him, he must be a good fighter then.
Oh, if he's meeting the Prez, yeah, he's got to be the real deal.
Yeah.
Right. Jalen Turner got a submission over Brock Weaver. Brock Weaver, you probably know from the Ultimate Fighter. The Contender Series. He was pretty popular. But I think Turner was kind of just better everywhere. Even got 2 knockdowns, kind of sat him down in the first round. Eventually, once again, got that knockdown, eventually into the submission. So I think that was a good showing. Brian Barberina, the lab, shout out. Still, actually, I don't know if is he still represented by was John Couch in his corner? No, I think he moved, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's moved. Yeah, like I just pulled it up. He's fighting out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, yeah.
That's what I thought I heard.
Since 2018, yeah, actually, yeah. So he's been away for a bit now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do remember him in the gym back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, well, good for him. Came back. I hope everything goes well. Obviously, with the move, he looked good. Got a decision. It's been out for a while. At flyweight, we had Mazo beat Kish. Kish, I know at flyweight, so it's good to see some new faces, some new finishing faces, and I think that's all that I got from this fight card. What about you, brother?
I think that's so too. I think we can move on to the next fight card. It's just kind of a bit more stacked than some of the previous cards as well.
This is the one. This is the one we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I guess I don't know where to even start. I guess maybe Khamzat Chimaev's performance. Yeah, I guess.
Dude, I'm all on that hype train.
Yeah, that's I actually learned a bit more. Yeah, some of he's actually fought in the Latvian gym out here. He's been training out here as well for a bit. So yeah, apparently some of my training partners also gonna meet him soon. So yeah, that's definitely, they've been even saying since then that he's going to be a UFC champion even before making his UFC debut. And that's crazy. He's kind of comes from a different, like his background, kind of training in Sweden mainly, but the Gustafsson's gym, but also Gustafsson, Latifi been saying this guy's been going to be a star. And it's almost like he has this mystique about him. It's just like,
Dude, he does. It came out of nowhere. Seriously, I think I just saw him get scheduled for his debut, and then I just then my phone just said, "Okay, here is this guy," and then the world just blew up my phone with him. So really came out of nowhere. It felt like.
And it's all this, like, he wants, like said, fight every week, and then that's his job. It's like a hobby, a fight every week. It's just crazy.
It was like three times a night. Well, if he gets 17-second finishes like that often, he's gonna get it. So
I mean, if UFC was still a tournament format, I would like his chances against anybody.
I would love his chances. And then, now, come on, it's time for a ranked opponent. Let's get a ranked guy.
He might be scheduled against Damian Maia, but I think he said about Damian Maia, he's respected. Who is he? I tap him out quickly.
I smash him. Yeah, no.
And then he said, who possesses more threat, Israel Adesanya or Kamaru Usman? It's like, I don't care. I smash them both in one night.
Jeez, what an animal. I love it. All right. Now what, you want to go up? Do you want to go down? Because we got...
I guess we can go main event. What do you think of Colby Covington's performance?
That went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Exactly. I thought, Woodley was going to be a little more active in the first couple of rounds. He could have landed a knockdown, maybe even got a takedown at some point. But, Colby just put on the pressure. Woodley slowly started to wilt. He had kind of we've seen those a couple times, those weird rib injuries when people kind of transition. Anthony Pettis suffered one.
Anthony Pettis, I remember in his fighting as Dustin Poirier. It was like such an interesting wild brawl, and then abruptly stopped when I think he was like trying to hip escape, and then boom, something popped. Yeah.
So that dude, that rib could have started plunging into who knows what vital organ. So all the respect to that. But Colby technically Colby got the finish. I think, Colby, he did what he said he was going to do against Tyron. I think he kind of waited for the perfect time to fight Tyron Woodley. I think that if he, kind of was barking up that tree a couple years ago, I think it could have been a little bit different, but, should have bet the house on this one, but no big deal. Yeah. What about you, brother? What'd you think?
No, I mean, Colby looked great, obviously endorsed by Donald Trump.
Did you get that phone call during the freaking interview? He got a phone call from the president during like an interview.
Oh, I didn't see that part. I mean, I've had the whole like promo he did beforehand. I'm gonna be watching Colby. He's my favorite fighter. He's gonna show America.
Oh yeah,
I know he
Trump's definitely helping the United States become more mixed martial arts friendly. So
and yeah, that now definitely Trump's sons who are watching the fights live as well. So he's definitely big friend of the family as well.
yeah.
And then what else? I guess Johnny Walker kind of pulled off Travis Brown performance with the elbows on the ground.
Are those elbows against the cage, man? One of our favorite techniques. But not to overlook Span, man. Span looked good. He was having some good success early on. It was one of those back and forth. It's one of those 2 minute. What was that? Yeah, 2 minute and 43-second fight. It was one of those fights where there was like 3 or 4 momentum shifts. It was a good fight. I think on any day of the week, I think Brian Span could get that knockout and then get that plunge forward in the title picture. So it was a fun fight for as long as it lasted. I'm looking forward to both those guys moving up the ranks after that one, especially Ryan Span. I think I really like to see him, get a little success against Johnny Walker. What did you think?
Yeah, I kind of think the same way. I think Johnny Walker still might have learned from some of his mistakes. Still, obviously, very promising guy with great striking, and I think Ryan Span also showed that he can hang in there. So I think just both fighters will just become better from this.
Oh yeah.
And then I guess Donald Cerrone, Nico Price fight. I guess Dana White's already calling Cerrone to hang it up, but I think might be a little too early.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this in beforehand. It was a close fight. I think what the majority of people are going to take away from this, I think it's going to be, Donald is just looking significantly lower than where he once was. Nico is kind of shining that light, and Donald is still capable. So I think it's kind of a tale of, Donald coming down, Nico coming up, and it's just kind of a tie on this night. I think Cerrone, kind of said himself, he's going to go back to the drawing board, actually take some time in between his next fight to
For first time in his career, probably.
Yeah, he's going to take more than 1 month off from a fight camp, right?
Yeah, not going to be like Hamzat for fights every weekend.
Yeah, not anymore. So I think Donald, go back to the drawing board. Let's see what else he can muster at this point. I think he's still got some shine. Nico, I'm a big fan of Nico. I'd like to see him keep moving forward. He's a wild man. He's got some weird, he's got the hammer fist from the bottom. He's got an up kick knockout. So, it's a draw. So they both didn't lose. I guess that's good.
And what else you got on the card? Mackenzie Dern, you're going to show their world-class jiu-jitsu skills. Getting that armbar submission could probably be a contender in the future.
Yeah. It was beautiful to watch her transition. That's probably my favorite part of it was you saw her switch directions. You see her switch.
And they put that little kidney shot there
dude, see him with that kidney shot. I was like, oh, shit, I wasn't expecting that. Dude, it was, obviously, submission is amazing. Randa Marcos, I think popularly, this just came out recently. Like, she's like, in 10 fights, I think she has literally gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, which I think is like the first time in UFC history. Look into it. But now it's been broken because she got 2 losses in a row.
Oh, yeah. Looking, it definitely had
Are you
like
looking at it?
All green, red on her record. Yeah, so.
and she's game, man. I've seen her fight a lot of good people, and Mackenzie submitted her first round. I think Mackenzie's looking really good the last couple fights.
Yeah, Kevin Holland then also beat Darren Stewart by split decision, and I think he was apparently in the hotel calling out Hamzat. But I don't know whether that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Kevin Holland's a funny guy. I really like his shit talking. Pardon my French. I think it's really good. I think it's funny. I think he's very creative, very similar to MVP. His striking is just so tall, so lengthy, so unorthodox. He seemed to kind of – I'm looking at my notes. It kind of gassed or started fading, and Darren started doing more takedowns, more grappling, and more pressure. And, Kevin kind of squeaked away with that split decision, which I think he rightfully earned. But, Darren Stewart showed that he can hang, and I think Kevin once again just kind of keep on upping his light. And, man, if he wants to take on the Swedish demolisher that we just talked about, then you can tell him to go for it. What do you think?
Yeah, I heard apparently someone was comparing Hamzat to Khabib, and he said, "No, I'm not Khabib. I'm Hamzat." That's very simple. Which
is even more funny because it's like you said, like the same name pretty much.
Yeah, and he just keeps. I'm just love his interviews as well. It's like kind of working in a way for him, just being very simple to the point.
It works.
Without,
It works for him, right? His mystique is he just smashes everybody. So if he just doesn't say anything, that's perfect. So it's like, how are you going to win this fight? I smash. How are you going to win this? If he literally just said, I smash, I guarantee you he would blow up even more. I don't want him to do that because I actually want to hear him talk. But if he was playing
start printing those T-shirts.
can you imagine if the only thing he answered, like, if he's like, hey, how do you think this fight's going to go? I smash. Hey, are you worried about him bringing in this person? I smash. Like, that'd be freaking scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sad that Tommy Tohold isn't as active anymore as he used to be. I think he would portray Hamzat really well on this show.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, Tommy Tohold.
Hopefully that could happen one day. Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got. Then we got David Dvorak defeats Jordan Espinoza by decision. With the notes, seems like they were cautious at first. I thought Espinoza was kind of taking over, at least in the beginning. And then Dvorak started kind of coming on strong a little bit towards the end. Nothing particular there. What was that, brother?
I guess I was going into the next fight unless you had something else to add to that one.
Oh, no, I was going to ask you if you had any thoughts on that one.
I think it's a pretty same to me. It's got a decision, shows some good performance. But speaking of next fight, yeah, that was kind of one of the upsets, I think. Mirsad Bektic has been kind of the prospect for a while in the UFC featherweight division, got upset by Damon Jackson, who used to fight in the UFC years ago. That went to LFA for a few years, and actually, yeah, now is 18, moved up to 18-3-1, which is still an impressive record and could have a great second run in the UFC.
I think Mirsad was winning the fight. I think Damon did the exact opposite of what his coaches said, which his coaches said, stop chasing that freaking guillotine. Eventually, the third round, he got it, jumped up, shouted, best guillotine in the world. I like him, man. It's that pumped about his skill set. And he beat, like you said, a top guy. I think he's ranked 13th or 12th at this point, and I think we can all agree Mirsad Bektic could probably be ranked a little bit higher depending on the day. So, like you said, man, a big win coming off of his return back to the UFC. I liked it.
Who else? Another impressive performance, I guess. Still looking at the guard was Randy Costa, had that impressive head kick knockout. So yeah, he's someone that we should definitely keep our eye out.
Bro, it was nasty, and the one good thing why I like not having the fans in the arena is because you can hear it.
Yeah, just hear that shin straight to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing with the women's flyweight, the Mayra Bueno Silva, how she submitted an armbar Mara Romero Borella. I thought that was a really good one. But one thing I was curious if you saw it, because the one thing I noticed was like it looked like Borella, like as Silva was transitioning into these different possibilities, it looked like Borella just sat there and waited for it to happen. But obviously she knows a lot better than I do. But it was just in the moment, it looked like she just freezed and. Then obviously Silva got the first round TKO. Jessica Rose Clark looked beastly against Sarah Alpar, man. She was just beating her up. Clearly better boxing. You may have seen some controversy with this one. There was, it probably should have been stopped a little bit earlier. Jessica Rose Clark was probably doing much better, doing good enough early on to have ended it. So someone's a little bit pissed. Some people are a little bit pissed at Alpar, but Jessica Rose Clark, man, that might have been the best she's looked in the UFC.
Yeah, definitely great, impressive performance. But yeah, sometimes you just got to think about the fighter's safety.
That's the only thing the referee has to think of is their safety, because toughness, I mean, more often than not, it's never going to be the issue. You got to be safer than they are, right?
Anything else? I guess Tyson Nam got a victory, got a knockout finish. He has very experienced, 20-11-1 on this record, so it's definitely been around the block. But yeah, another win for him.
Yeah, got a good takedown. Andre Ewell got a good decision. I've seen Rivera fight before, so that's obviously a good win. We talked about the knockout already. Derek Minor got a real quick submission over TJ. Oh, man, come on, TJ. he just Laramie shot, and he just jumped all over that takedown attempt, and that's all she wrote.
Yep. That's, I guess, anything else on the card?
Not this one, brother. I think that's all those 3 cards good.
Yeah, so I guess we can just look forward to the pay-per-view. I guess we can go through the picks of the main card.
Let's do it.
I guess on the undercard looking there, we got interesting that Diego Sanchez is going to be fighting on this card again. I think he recently had again one of those strange interviews he did, and he said that like I guess he has let go of his dream of becoming the UFC champions, but I guess he still wants to fight Conor McGregor one day. So
Diego Sanchez, man, I like he is the epitome, a good example of don't give a shit what anyone else says and just follow your dreams. He said over these last 4 fights, I think he said the names of Nick and Nate Diaz, and I think he said his 4th fight he wants to be Conor McGregor. So I don't know who that 4th fight is, but he wants Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, and somebody else. I don't think he's going to get any of those 4, but I freaking love shooting for the stars. Go for it.
Exactly. All of us should learn from Diego Sanchez a little bit.
But with that being said, I'm picking Jake Matthews over Diego Sanchez.
Yes, it's not even a question.
Not even a question? Okay, cool. Yeah, no.
Matthews is definitely a prospect, so for sure.
Yo, Diego's the man. I think he can pull it off, but I'm just at this point, it's going to be really hard for me to pick him over anybody at this point. Any UFC caliber fighter. You know what I mean?
Yes. Maybe a fight in Legends League or Bellator or something.
Yeah, which he wants those type of fights, which, once again, I'm cool with, man. I mean, he fought Nick Diaz, 15 years ago? 10 years ago? So yeah. I'm all in for it. All right, well.
I guess if we go up to the main card, I think the first one could be a very close fight. That kind of is a bit of coin toss for me. It's Zubaira Tukhugov from the Khabib's camp, and then you got Hakeem Dawodu from Canada. So yeah, it should be a very interesting one. And this one, I think both guys had some really impressive wins. And what do you think about this one? I think I'm leaning slightly towards Zubaira because I think he just had that split decision against Renato Moicano years ago. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, he's looked great.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail right on the head as far as kind of a toss-up between this one. Some of the notes that I kind of latched onto, and I like that you said it, Zubaira, he has a split decision loss to Moicano, who's a top prospect. I like the fact that he has a split decision loss. So some people think that he actually won that fight. Dawodu has 4 wins in a row, explosive on the feet. And then you said Zubaira's from the Khabib camp. So obviously that's awesome. Just for fun with this one, since I'm gonna say Dawodu. I think Hakeem's gonna win this fight. I think he's gonna be a little bit too much firepower, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right, next up.
Yeah. I guess we can go on the next one. It's Ketlin Vieira and Sijara Eubanks on a very quick turnaround. So It's be an interesting one. I actually just read on Sherdog.com that Ketlin Vieira's some of the cornermen have gotten COVID-19. So it could be, again, one of those cards, where we predict fights and the fight ends up being canceled. But I think the fight's still on for now, at least, as of time of recording. So, yeah, what do you think about this one?
So it's funny because I just talked about how I like Eubanks, but I think I'm picking Ketlin Vieira over Sijara Eubanks for a couple of things. Ketlin has wins over people like Kat Zingano, Sarah McMahon. I don't see Eubanks having that type of resume. And another thing, and this might sound like I'm picking on this other fighter, but Sijara has a loss to Betch Correia a little bit ago, and I think Betch, we can all agree, is kind of on maybe not necessarily in her prime anymore, or just not nearly as high as she used to be.
Right.
So I'm sure Sijara can definitely shock me, but I think Vieira is going to be a little too much firepower at that weight class. What do you think?
I guess you kind of took the words out of my mouth. I feel the same way about this one for sure.
Perfect. Cool. I like that one.
Vieira, yes. And then we move to the next one. You got Kai Kara France fighting against Brendan Royval, and yeah, it's this also could be an interesting one. I think I'm leaning towards Kai on this one. I think he's had a win over Tyson Nam, who's obviously a veteran, and then has pretty impressive run he's had over the last few years. So I think I'm leaning slightly towards him, but don't count Brandon out because he has a win over Tim Elliott as well. So it could be a very close one.
That's what I was thinking about, because Brandon Royval, I actually remember his last fight, because I remember that he beat Tim Elliott, good wins, finished him, I think. And then he was so critical of his performance. Do you remember that? He was so critical, so down on himself. So, I think he's going to come in hungry. I think he's going to come in motivated. I think he really wants a bonus. And yeah, I'm with you, man. Don't count him out. No, you know what? I'm going to go with Brandon Royval.
Oh,
opposite of you.
Great.
Let's have fun with it. I think he's going to come in hungry. He's going to be pissed off at himself. I think he's going to win.
Yes. I didn't hear that promo, but I believe you. Yeah.
I like it. All right.
So,
next.
Yeah, and then I guess you're moving to the really big fights on the card. You got Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz. So, yeah, this could be definitely an interesting one. I feel like Dominic Reyes still probably was the closest fight John Jones had in his career. And, I mean, they've looked pretty much perfect outside of that fight. And I think Blachowicz is definitely going to show this knockout power. Been really experienced around the block, but obviously he kind of almost was like a journeyman earlier on in his UFC career. And I think Dominic Reyes is definitely going to be top light heavyweight for a while, unless John Jones decides to come back to the division. So I don't think I go with Reyes. I think he's going to get a finish in the later rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to be lame. I'm going to agree with you. Jan's got good power. He's beaten good guys, but Dom Reyes really kind of won me over with his performance against John Jones. I think I need to see a lot more out of Jan first before I think he's going to win, and obviously he's going to have the chance in the fight. So at this point, I think I like Dominic's chance of kind of keeping it at bay, keeping it in his range, landing the better strikes, having the more skills, maybe even having more of the power. I guess we'll see that. They both have power, but I'm with you. If I had to put my money on someone, it's got to be on Reyes at this point.
Maybe potentially, so some good matchups potentially later, like light heavyweight, like Yuri Prochazka, and so definitely it could be an interesting one. What do you think about the main event?
The main
you got fight that we've been looking for a while. It's like rare you get to see in MMA two guys with no blemishes on their record. So what do you think is going to happen?
This is probably it's been a while since I've been this excited for a middleweight title fight. I got to be honest. And there's been some good ones. There have been. I mean, even, we just had Izzy and Yoel. But I'm right off the bat, right here, right now, I'm leaning towards Izzy. I think, man, this is going to kill me. I'm leaning towards Izzy at this moment for a couple of things, okay? I think his striking's better. I think his striking is better. I think he's going to be able to keep it at bay. I think he's going to be able to keep it at his distance, and I think he's going to be able to maneuver around. But, man, Paulo Costa's pressure is like the freaking Terminator. I think it's going to be very challenging not getting hit hard by that man. And I think the one thing that's super scary is they've both shown that they have conditioning. Costa against freaking Yoel's, that pace was insane. And I don't think it'll be the same. I think it'll be a lot lower pace with Izzy. So I think it's going to be a heck of a fight, but I think Izzy's going to be a little bit better on the feet, and I don't see Costa landing the knockout shot, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did. And I don't see any grappling takedown defenses really or anything like that. What are you seeing? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's just definitely be a lot of different scenarios could play out in this one. I believe Costa could be like the biggest threat so far in the career of Adesanya. I think Costa definitely has that knockout power, has the pressure. So it could be a bad matchup, but at the same time, I think Adesanya is slightly more technical striker. I think he's going to play it smart. I think he's already proven that he sometimes doesn't take unnecessary risks. He takes them when they are needed. proven his like patience against like Anderson Silva and Yoel Romero, and then it's also proven his toughness against Kelvin Gastelum, and then it's proven his good knockout power and like Robert Whittaker, Derek Brunson, and as I just mentioned, who's who he's already fought in his relatively short UFC career. While Paulo Costa, I mean, he had that win over Romero, and before that he fought Uriah Hall and Johnny Hendricks, who are kind of already on the down slope, I think, on their careers. So I think just based off of like that world championship experience, I think Adesanya is going to get the decision. I think Costa's going to win rounds. I think it could be like 49-6 for 48-47, but I'm going to slightly just go to Adesanya on this one.
Agree, brother. I agree, man. All right.
Yeah.
You want to polish off this card? There's a couple more, or do you want to go – because we talked about the main card, or do you want to go to some of those other fights that you were talking about with next week's fight card?
I think, there's like, I guess, a couple sleeper picks. I guess Duško Todorović is one of the guys I think you should look into it. He's on the undercard, actually, on this fight card.
Of next week's fight card? Now we're talking about next week's fight card?
So the Holly Holm card.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Following one, I think he's 9-0 actually in Serbian Battle Championships. It's one of the European leagues that might have not heard of. This guy actually fought Michel Pereira that we just talked about, and beat him in the first round by knockout for the world title. Only 26 years old, 9-0, almost all finishes. So I think he's going to be one of the up stars in the 185 division.
I like it, man. I'm looking forward to that one, brother.
Yeah, so that's one of the European prospects. I guess what else is interesting in MMA world? I guess I'm going to cover Michael Chandler being signed by the UFC and being served as the backup for that world title fight. So it would be really interesting if he made his debut fighting for the world title right away.
I cannot wait to watch. I'm just thinking about it. Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier. Michael Chandler versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. And
Chandler's been in so many wars and it's proven like he can go for a long time. So it's so many matchups in that lightweight division. Yeah.
So now here's my thing, because do you like him being put as the backup right away? Because I wish that I would have liked to have seen them giving him a fight. But it is what it is.
I think it's very, very likely, that, I mean, if the fight goes on, everything goes to plan, and we have, have an undisputed champion, I don't think he will get the first title shot. I think it's just the timing has worked out correctly, and he was ready to fight, and kind of for promotional purposes, we got a newcomer is waiting. Yeah. So I still feel like if he's going to have a title shot, he'll have to earn probably being straight into like a title eliminator scenario potentially against one of the top contenders.
Yeah, exactly. Because we see it all the time, man. We saw in Eddie's debut, man. Split decision loss. Actually, I don't think it was a split decision. I think it was a 29-28 decision loss to Donald in his promotional debut. So I like the idea of giving them a fights. And even Charles Oliveira kind of mentioned something. He's like, he's won five or seven fights in a row. They're all been by submissions, and they're all been in the UFC. So why is this guy, even though his pedigree is good outside? So I kind of get Charles there, which is kind of why I wish they would have given him a fight, because I would like to see it. But I'm just glad he's in there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's great. What else you got in like upcoming cards or MMA news you want to discuss?
Just the three, because I don't have a lot of notes on next week's fight card fight night, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot finalized yet. Just three fights that
they don't even know what's the main card yet, so that's why I also didn't really cover it.
but three fights that I kind of want to touch on really quick, just because they're fun. Juliana Pena, who was a good bantamweight contender, who I think has been out since having a baby. I could be wrong about that.
Baby, I think had an ACL replacement before that, so it's had long layoffs, but definitely could still prove. And
then she's fighting Durandamy, who obviously just fought for the belt.
Yeah.
Obviously depends on what Pena shows up, but if the Pena from the old with that grappling comes back, I like her over Durandamy in this fight.
Yeah.
There's another fun one, Tanner Bosser, that heavyweight that we talked about a couple weeks ago. He's fighting Andrei Arlovsky. I think this is going to be one of those cases where, Bosser moves, over Arlovsky. I think
Arlovsky, again, being a gatekeeper I think he's been doing for last 5 years, I think, fighting all these new prospects. You get to be tested against Arlovsky, and then kind of determines your career path.
If you beat Arlovsky, you're in the top 10. If you don't, you're not. So
you're probably gonna get your walking paper soon.
Exactly. And then we have Carlos Condit versus Court McGee.
So yeah, two veterans.
Like that BJ Penn versus Dennis Seaver type of stuff. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, that almost remembers playing UFC Undisputed 3 again, playing these guys. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I think Carlos Condit coming from a long layoff and has had some losses lately, and I think he's definitely a legend in the sport. So with Condit, I think I would like him to just put on good performance. I think he's gonna have enough to beat Court McGee, and I think he might just retire with a victory.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I think Carlos will have enough to get this one done against Court McGee. But yeah, I'm not sure what he's trying to do. It's interesting.
I think I heard he was trying to train for some of his fights, but I think COVID-19 situation, I think it's kind of put a wrench in some of his return plans, and that he's had trouble getting sparring partners from what I heard. And yeah, so I think he's going to be back. I think he's had some submission losses over the last couple of years. They're against pretty high-level fighters. I think, he's going to have enough against Court McGee.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm kind of looking at news. Nothing really jumping out. Right? I'm kind of running a little low on time. I gotta start getting ready for work, my man. Any final regards or claims from you, my man?
I think it's great. I think it's got a lot of good fights coming up in the coming weeks. I think it's probably going to have a lot to talk about coming out of this UFC 253 because it's going to really change the landscape of many divisions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And we will most likely – probably October 9th or 10th is 2 weeks from this point is going to be where we'll probably go over the two cards that we just talked about a little bit. We'll probably preview the next 2 or 3 cards, and we'll just keep the ball rolling. All right, brother?
Hopefully the whole pandemic doesn't affect the fight cards too much, and we can keep on reviewing some good fights.
Yes, sir. Keep on living that good life, brother. Enjoying all the fights, man. All right, man. That's all I got.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
Tuning in, later, Latvian versus the American, the main event. We're going to see who wins this next event. All right. Thanks, everybody.